Let go of the old you, rebuild your mind, reclaim your life. There comes a time in every person's life when staying the same becomes more painful than changing. The truth is, growth begins when you finally decide to let go of who you were, of what broke you, and of everything that no longer serves the person you're becoming. This is your journey, your rebirth, to rebuild your mind, to reclaim your life, to let go of the old you. Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. Every transformation begins with a breaking point. That silent moment when you realize you can't keep living the same way anymore. It's not a loud explosion. It's not the world collapsing around you. Sometimes, it's just a quiet truth echoing inside your chest. A whisper that says, "This isn't who I am meant to be." Maybe it's the pain of regret, the haunting thought of what could have been if you had started sooner. Maybe it's the exhaustion that comes from pretending to be fine. Or maybe you've simply grown tired of your own excuses. The breaking point doesn't destroy you. It exposes you. It reveals the cracks you've ignored, the habits you've hidden behind, and the fears you've carried for far too long. The old you has reached its limit. And that is a good thing, because endings are the birthplace of beginnings. Every time something within you breaks, it creates space for something stronger to rise. To rebuild, something must first be broken. To rise, something must first fall. To evolve, something within you must die. That is the law of transformation. The shedding of your old skin, the death of your comfort, and the rebirth of your true potential. But the truth is, most people run from this moment. They numb it. They distract themselves with noise, with scrolling, with fake smiles, with anything that keeps them from facing themselves. But not you. Not anymore. You are here because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows that if you keep living this way, you'll never meet the person you could become. The breaking point is not the end of your story. It's the first chapter of your rebirth. It's the moment you stop lying to yourself. The moment you look in the mirror and admit, "I am not who I want to be yet." That realization hurts, but it's a sacred kind of pain, because it wakes you up. It shakes your soul and demands change. Change doesn't begin when things feel easy. Change begins when the pain of staying the same outweighs the fear of becoming someone new. That's your breaking point, and that's where everything shifts. In that moment, you stop waiting for permission. You stop blaming the world, your past, or your circumstances. You realize no one is coming to save you. You must rebuild yourself, piece by piece, brick by brick, decision by decision. The breaking point is not weakness. It's awakening. It's your spirit saying, "Enough. Enough pretending. Enough repeating the same cycles. Enough hiding your potential under fear." You cannot become the next version of yourself while clinging to the old one. The person you were must die, so the person you were meant to be can live. So don't run from your breaking point. Stand in it. Feel it. Let it break you open, not down. Because on the other side of that pain is freedom. On the other side of that fear is power. And on the other side of the old you is everything you've ever wanted to become. This is not the end. It's the beginning. Your breaking point is your turning point. Chapter 2. Burn the bridges to your past. You cannot step into the future while still holding hands with your past. Every memory, every regret, every version of you that once failed must be released. You can't move forward while you're still looking backward. You can't build a new life while your heart still lives in the ruins of the old one. And yet, that's what so many people try to do. They drag yesterday into today and wonder why tomorrow feels the same. The truth is, your past can't come with you. Not the pain. Not the people who left. Not the stories you've told yourself about who you are. If you want peace, if you want growth, you have to burn those bridges completely. No half closures. No secret doors left open. No checking back to see if the past still remembers you. Let it burn. Let it all burn. Because some bridges aren't meant to be crossed again. They were built only to take you far enough to learn the lesson, not to live there forever. Forgive yourself. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about freeing your spirit from the chains of what can't be changed. The past is heavy. It anchors you to what no longer serves you. It keeps you stuck in moments that no longer exist. You replay the pain. You question the choices. You wonder if you could have done more. But deep down, you know, that chapter is over. When you finally decide to let go, you stop bleeding from old wounds that should have healed long ago. When you burn the bridges to your past, you destroy the path back to your comfort zone. You force yourself to move forward, because there's no way back. That's how you rebuild your mind. By removing the escape routes. By making the decision that there is only one direction now. And that is forward. But burning bridges isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries. It's about protecting your peace. It's about honoring the person you're becoming, not the person you once were. You've learned from the past. You've carried its lessons. But you no longer owe it your loyalty. It's time to stop revisiting old pain, hoping it will somehow hurt less the next time. It won't. Pain doesn't fade by reliving it. It fades by releasing it. You cannot evolve if you keep revisiting your history. Like a prisoner visiting their cell. The fire you fear, the burning of bridges, is the same fire that will forge the new you. Let it burn, and walk away without looking back. Because what's behind you is gone, and what's ahead is everything. So forgive yourself for staying too long. Forgive yourself for trusting the wrong people. Forgive yourself for not knowing what you know now. That version of you did the best they could. And now it's time to thank them, and let them rest. When the old you dies, the real you begins to live. The bridges behind you are gone. All that remains is the road ahead. Chapter 3. Reprogram your mind for growth. The most powerful prison is the one built inside your own mind. And the most powerful freedom is realizing you hold the key. You've burned the bridges behind you. You've decided to move forward. Now, it's time to rebuild what truly matters. Your mind. Because your life will never rise above your thoughts. Your world can't expand if your mindset remains small. Everything begins in the mind. Every breakthrough, every success, every transformation. It all starts with how you think. But the mind, it doesn't change overnight. It's been programmed by your past, by the voices you grew up around, by every failure you never let go of, and every doubt you ever believed. You have to reprogram it. Not once, not twice, but every single day. Every time you choose belief over fear, you rewrite your code. Every time you silence the voice of doubt, you rewire your system. Every time you take action despite uncertainty, you install a new pattern. The mind learns through repetition. What you feed it consistently becomes your reality. If you feed it weakness, it will build walls. If you feed it strength, it will build wings. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind? Are you filling it with doubt, with fear, with comparison? Or with discipline, focus, and vision? You must become the architect of your thoughts, not their victim. When negative thoughts appear, don't argue with them. Replace them. Speak truth louder than fear. Declare who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Because the old you spoke from limitation, but the new you speaks from power. Reprogramming the mind is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing perspective, finding strength in every storm, and meaning in every mistake. Every time you choose gratitude, you're reprogramming scarcity into abundance. Every time you choose patience, you're replacing chaos with control. Every time you choose effort, you're transforming hesitation into progress. You don't need to erase your thoughts. You need to guide them. You need to teach your mind to serve your purpose, not sabotage it. And it begins in silence. Moments when you turn off the noise. When you sit with your breath. When you question your beliefs. Because awareness is the first step toward reprogramming. You can't change what you refuse to confront. Look at your patterns. Look at your habits. Look at the stories you tell yourself every day. If they no longer serve you, rewrite them. Because every story you repeat becomes your truth. Tell yourself a new story. One of growth, of courage, of becoming. Reprogram your mind to see obstacles as training, failure as feedback, and every small victory as proof you're evolving. You are not your past code. You are the programmer now. And the program you choose to run will determine the life you create. Feed your mind with what you want it to become. Protect your focus like it's sacred. And remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are programmed to expect. This is how you rebuild your mind. This is how you reclaim your life. Chapter 4. The Power of Solitude. The world teaches you to stay busy, to fill every silence with noise, to chase validation in a crowd. But solitude teaches you something far greater. It teaches you who you really are. When no one else is watching. Solitude is not loneliness. It's not isolation. It's sacred space. The space where you finally meet yourself. When you're always surrounded by noise, you forget the sound of your own soul. You forget what peace feels like, without someone else's opinion attached to it. The power of solitude is this. It strips away every mask, every distraction, every performance. It shows you. At first, it feels uncomfortable, because silence exposes the things you've ignored. The doubts, the regrets, the fears you've buried under constant movement. But if you can sit in that silence long enough, you'll begin to hear the truth beneath the noise. You'll realize that peace was never outside of you. It was within you all along. You just couldn't hear it. Solitude teaches you to listen to your intuition, your body, your boundaries, your dreams. Because when you're alone, there's no one left to impress. No one left to pretend for. No one left to hide behind. That's where growth begins. In the quiet spaces between the chaos. In the still moments where you confront yourself honestly. Some people fear solitude because it reveals the truth, that they've been running from themselves all along. But those who embrace it become unstoppable. Solitude makes you strong. Not the kind of strength that needs to prove itself, but the kind that knows itself. You begin to see who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming. You start to rebuild your mind with clarity. You begin to make choices that align with your peace, not your pressure to please. The greatest leaders, creators, and thinkers all understood this truth. That silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Every moment alone is a conversation with your higher self. Every quiet hour is a chance to grow closer to the person you were always meant to be. In solitude, you heal what the world keeps reopening. You remember what matters. You learn to love your own company, not because you need no one, but because you finally understand yourself. When you master solitude, you master peace. And when you master peace, you become unshakable. Because a person who is at peace with themselves can no longer be controlled by the noise of others. So don't run from solitude. Walk into it. Embrace it. Let it rebuild you from the inside out. Because when you find comfort in your own presence, you no longer chase what disturbs your peace. You attract what matches it. This is the power of solitude, where your strength is reborn, and your mind becomes your greatest ally. Chapter 5. Discipline. The foundation of the new you. Discipline. It's not a word people love to hear, because it demands more than motivation ever could. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the spark fades. You can rebuild your mind. You can find peace in solitude. But without discipline, you'll always fall back into the comfort of the old you. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. It's the promise you keep with yourself, long after the feeling that started it is gone. It's waking up when you said you would. It's staying consistent when no one notices. It's doing what's right over what's easy. You cannot rebuild your life without structure. Because growth isn't built in inspiration. It's built in repetition. Repetition shapes identity. Every day you follow through, you carve a new pattern in your mind, a signal that says, "This is who I am now." The old you lived by emotion. If it felt good, you did it. If it didn't, you quit. The new you lives by principles. You move not by how you feel, but by what you've decided. Discipline is the quiet strength that makes transformation possible. It's the invisible bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every great life is built on small, consistent actions. Every strong mind is built on habits that no one sees. The world rewards results, but those results are born in discipline. in unseen moments of self-control, in private battles against old patterns, in quiet victories that no one claps for. And that's the test. Can you keep going when it's not exciting anymore? Because discipline isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. Not about doing everything in one day, but doing something every day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be faithful to the process. Every morning you rise when you don't feel like it, you're training your mind to obey purpose over mood. Every time you resist distraction, you're strengthening the muscle of focus. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you're proving to yourself that the new you is real. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. Because when you control your habits, you control your outcomes. And when you control your outcomes, you control your destiny. The old you relied on feelings. The new you relies on commitment. And commitment doesn't negotiate. You don't wait to feel ready. You create readiness through action. Discipline is not easy. But neither is regret. Choose your difficulty wisely. Because one builds you, and the other breaks you. You're not always going to feel inspired. You're not always going to see results right away. But discipline reminds you that every small step counts. And one day, you look back and realize the results didn't just appear. You built them one decision at a time. So honor your word. Keep your promises. And remember, the foundation of the new you is discipline. Because when discipline becomes your nature, success becomes inevitable. Chapter 6. Healing the Inner Voice. The way you speak to yourself becomes the world you live in. Every thought you repeat, every name you call yourself, every doubt you feed, builds the walls of your inner reality. The old you didn't realize this. You believed the voice in your head was the truth. You thought those words, "I'm not enough. I can't change. I always fail," were facts. But they weren't facts. They were scars. Echoes from the past, leftovers from the voices of others, who never healed their own pain. Healing the inner voice isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing the lies you've believed for too long, and replacing them with truth. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fears. You are not the opinions of people who couldn't see your worth. You are growth. You are the lesson. You are the strength that survived the storm. The old you listened to the noise of comparison. They're ahead. I'm behind. I'll never catch up. But the new you understands. The only person you're racing is the person you used to be. Healing begins with awareness. Every time a negative thought appears, don't fight it. Observe it. Watch how it rises, how it tries to convince you that you're still broken. And then quietly say, "Not anymore." Because healing doesn't happen by force. It happens by attention, by catching the old programming, and choosing new words, new meanings, new beliefs. Talk to yourself like someone you are responsible for healing. Because you are. You've carried pain that wasn't yours to hold. You've blamed yourself for things that weren't your fault. You've punished yourself for being human. But today that ends. Because the old you used guilt as a cage. The new you uses forgiveness as a key. Healing the inner voice takes time. It requires patience. You cannot silence decades of self-doubt overnight. But you can begin to question it, to gently whisper back, "I choose peace instead." Your inner voice is powerful. It sets the tone for every action you take. If it is filled with fear, you'll hesitate. If it is filled with love, you'll move forward with strength. You don't need to become your biggest critic anymore. Become your greatest ally. Encourage yourself like you would a friend. Remind yourself that progress is not linear. That setbacks are part of rebuilding. That mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning of understanding. When the old voice says, "You can't," answer with, "I already am." When it says, "You'll fail again," whisper, "I'll try until I don't." When it says, "You're not worthy," look inward and say, "I am enough. I've always been enough." Healing your inner voice means turning pain into wisdom. It means accepting your past without letting it define your future. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you rewire the mind. Every time you forgive yourself, you release energy for growth. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you reclaim power. And that's what this journey is about, reclaiming power from your own mind. So today, decide to be gentle with yourself, because the new you cannot rise from the ashes of self-hatred. The new is built on self-respect, on self-compassion, on the voice that finally says, I am learning, I am growing, I am becoming. And that voice is worth listening to. Chapter 7: The Power of Stillness. There is a strength in stillness that the busy world will never understand. In silence, you meet the truth you've been avoiding. In stillness, you find the answers noise can never reveal. The old you ran from quiet moments because silence exposed your thoughts. You filled your days with distractions, with movement, with noise, so you wouldn't have to face yourself. But the new you understands that growth requires stillness, because when the world goes quiet, the mind becomes clear. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It's the presence of awareness. It's the ability to sit in peace while the world rushes around you. It's the discipline of listening instead of reacting. It's the calm between thought and action, where wisdom lives. When you learn to be still, you stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to opinions. You stop living on autopilot. Stillness gives you the power to observe life without being controlled by it. You stop being pulled by emotion and start moving with intention. In stillness, you learn to hear your intuition, that quiet inner guide that's been whispering beneath the noise. You begin to see that clarity was never missing. It was buried under chaos. Every morning, before the world wakes, take a moment to sit with yourself. Breathe. Listen. Feel the calm behind the noise. In that stillness, you'll discover your strength, because peace is power, and calm is control. The old you believed that action equals progress. That constant motion meant productivity. But the truth is, without stillness, your action lacks direction. Stillness doesn't slow you down. It aligns you. It clears your path before you take your next step. The most powerful people in history were not loud. They were focused, composed, centered. They understood that control of the self is control of the world. When you practice stillness, you master the space between stimulus and response. And in that space is your freedom. Freedom from reacting to negativity. Freedom from fear of judgment. Freedom from the noise of a world that thrives on distraction. The old you would fill every silent moment with scrolling, checking, talking, afraid of being alone with your thoughts. But silence isn't emptiness. It's the room your soul needs to breathe. When you embrace stillness, you become an observer. You start noticing the patterns, the habits, the emotions, the triggers that once controlled you. You begin to realize that chaos outside doesn't have to mean chaos inside. Stillness makes you untouchable, because when you can remain calm in the storm, you hold the power that chaos cannot break. The world will test you. It will pull for your attention, demand your reaction, tempt you to lose your peace. But remember, not everything deserves your energy. When you protect your stillness, you protect your clarity. And clarity is strength. Sit in silence. Breathe with awareness. Listen to the sound of your own thoughts. And choose which ones deserve to stay. Because when your mind becomes still, your vision becomes sharp. And when your vision is sharp, your purpose becomes unstoppable. The old you reacted to everything. The new you responds with peace. That is the power of stillness. Chapter 8: Reprogramming Your Mind. Everything you experience in life first begins in the mind. Every habit, every decision, every success, and every failure is born from the thoughts you repeatedly allow to exist. The old you didn't know that your mind could be programmed. You thought your beliefs were permanent, that the way you think is simply who you are. But the truth is this: your mind is not a fixed structure. It's a living, evolving system, wired to adapt to whatever you feed it. If you feed it fear, it will grow anxiety. If you feed it doubt, it will create hesitation. If you feed it purpose, it will build vision. You have the power to reprogram your mind, to uninstall the beliefs that no longer serve you, and install new ones that move you forward. But it begins with awareness. You must learn to catch the code, the mental scripts that run your life. Notice the thoughts that arise when you face a challenge. Do they say, "I can't," or "I'll find a way"? Notice what you tell yourself when you fail. Do you say, "I'm not enough," or "I'm learning"? Because every word you repeat to yourself becomes a command to your subconscious. And your subconscious never argues. It obeys. For years, the old you programmed the mind through repetition, repeating doubts, fears, excuses, and comparisons until they became automatic. Now you must use that same repetition to build strength, confidence, and clarity. You reprogram the mind by feeding it what you want it to believe, not what you fear might be true. Start by declaring new affirmations. I am in control of my thoughts. I am capable of change. My past does not define my future. Speak them aloud every morning, because the voice you hear most will always shape who you become. Visualization is another key. When you imagine yourself succeeding, your brain doesn't see fantasy, it sees rehearsal. The mind begins to adjust its focus, to expect that outcome, to find pathways that make it real. This is not imagination. It's programming. And what you visualize with belief, your mind works to achieve. The old you lived in reaction mode, responding to every circumstance. The new you moves with design, creating the thoughts that create the future. But be patient. Reprogramming the mind takes consistency. You can't overwrite years of negative self-talk in a single day. You must repeat truth louder than you once repeated doubt. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you plant fear, you'll harvest hesitation. If you plant purpose, you'll grow direction. Your job is to pull the weeds, to remove every belief that says, "I can't," and replace it with "I will." Because once your mind believes, your body follows. Your energy shifts. Your habits align. Your reality begins to mirror your new belief. Reprogramming your mind is not just about thinking positive. It's about creating a new internal environment, where only thoughts that serve your growth can survive. That means you guard your inputs, what you watch, what you listen to, who you keep around you. Every source of information is a form of programming. So feed your mind with knowledge that strengthens you, with stories that inspire you, with people who believe in evolution, not limitation. And when the old programming tries to return, when your mind whispers, "You've never done this before," answer it calmly, "That's because I'm doing something new." That's how transformation begins. Not with a single thought, but with a daily rewiring of belief. You are not a prisoner of your past programming. You are the programmer now. So design your thoughts with intention, because your life will always follow. The blueprint of your mind. Chapter 9. The Art of Detachment. The old you clung to everything: people, emotions, expectations, outcomes. You believed that holding on was strength, that caring meant control, that attachment was love. But true strength is not in holding on. It's in knowing when to let go. Detachment is not coldness. It's not about caring less. It's about understanding what deserves your energy and what only drains it. The art of detachment is learning to love deeply without losing yourself, to give fully without needing to control what comes back. The old you tried to fix everything, every broken situation, every misunderstanding, every person unwilling to change. You exhausted yourself, trying to make peace with people who were at war with themselves. But detachment teaches you that peace is not found in control. It's found in surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting what is and choosing to move with grace instead of resistance. When you detach, you don't stop feeling. You stop feeding feelings that keep you stuck. You stop replaying conversations. You stop chasing closure. You stop begging life to look like your plan. Because sometimes the closure you need is simply understanding why it had to end. Detachment is not about distance. It's about perspective. It allows you to see what's real without the blur of expectation, to stand in your truth, without needing the world to agree. It means no longer allowing your peace to depend on anyone else's behavior. When you master detachment, you stop reacting and start responding. You understand that emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. They arrive, they stay for a while, then they leave, and your job is simply to watch them pass, without losing yourself in the storm. When something or someone leaves your life, don't chase. If it's meant for you, it will find you in alignment, not in desperation. Detach with faith. Trust that what's meant for your peace will stay, and what's meant for your growth will leave. The old you feared loss. You thought letting go meant weakness, but letting go is what creates space for new beginnings. Imagine trying to catch new blessings with your hands still full of the past. You can't receive until you release. Detachment is how you rise above chaos. Without closing your heart, you can love, but not cling. You can care, but not control. You can give, without expecting anything in return. And when you master that balance, you become untouchable, because nothing outside you can disturb what's peaceful within you. The new you understands this. You are not here to chase. You are here to align. You are not here to force. You are here to flow. And in that flow, you'll find freedom. That is the art of detachment. Chapter 10. Building Emotional Resilience. Life will test you. Not once, not twice, but many times. And in those moments, you'll discover something about yourself. Not how strong you are when everything is easy, but how calm you remain when everything falls apart. The old you saw struggle as punishment. You asked, why me? You fought the pain, and in resisting it, you suffered twice. Once from the challenge, and again from your refusal to accept it. But emotional resilience begins the moment you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Resilience is not about pretending you're okay. It's about facing the pain and knowing it won't destroy you. It's about breathing through the chaos, holding your center, and whispering to yourself, I've been here before. I know how to rise. The truth is, you can't stop storms from coming, but you can train yourself to remain grounded. When they do, resilience is built, not inherited. It's the product of struggle, reflection, and the decision to grow instead of collapse. Every challenge you've survived has already been your training. Every heartbreak, every loss, every setback, they've been shaping your endurance. You've already proven that you can bend and not break, that you can lose and still rebuild, that you can cry and still continue. That is resilience. It's the quiet strength that says, I will not let this moment define me. It's the awareness that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. The old you reacted emotionally to every difficulty. The new you breathes first, observes, then decides how to respond. You begin to understand that every event in life is neutral until you give it meaning. And resilience means choosing meaning that empowers, not weakens you. When someone leaves, it's not rejection, it's redirection. When you fail, it's not the end, it's instruction. Resilience reframes every wound as a doorway to wisdom. And here's the truth. You don't build emotional strength by avoiding pain. You build it by walking through it and realizing you can survive. You learn that it's okay to fall as long as you don't stay there. Resilience means recovery, not perfection, not pretending. Recovery. So the next time you face hardship, don't try to rush your healing. Sit with it. Learn from it. And when you're ready, rise again, wiser than before. Resilience is the muscle of the mind. It grows stronger the more it's used. Feed it with patience. Train it with gratitude. Protect it with perspective. Because every time you overcome something you once thought you couldn't, you rewrite the story of who you are. You're no longer the person who breaks. You're the person who bends and rebuilds. That's how resilience feels. Not like power shouting through the noise, but peace that stands firm in silence. The old you used to crumble under pressure. The new you stands taller. Because pressure built your foundation. That is emotional resilience, the quiet strength that keeps you standing long after the storm has passed. Chapter 11, Mastering Self-Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not celebrated. Discipline is the quiet act of showing up again and again, long after the motivation has faded. Most people wait for inspiration to act. They chase motivation like it's fuel. But motivation burns fast. Discipline endures. The old you relied on feeling ready. The new you understands that readiness is a choice, not an emotion. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about repetition. Doing what must be done. Especially when it's hard. When your body wants to rest, you push for 5 more minutes. When your mind wants to quit, you remind it of the goal. When no one is watching, you still give your best. That is mastery. That is self-respect in action. Because true discipline isn't about punishment. It's about alignment. Aligning your actions with your purpose. You say you want to rebuild your life. Then your daily habits must reflect that vision. You cannot create a new life with old patterns. You cannot chase freedom while clinging to comfort. Discipline demands sacrifice, but it rewards you with strength. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted with success. And that is the real power of discipline. Self-trust. When you trust yourself to follow through, you stop needing external validation. You stop waiting for others to believe in you. Because you've seen your own consistency, you've witnessed your own growth. Discipline gives you control. Not control over others, but over your own impulses, your reactions, your time. Most people lose themselves because they lack structure. They drift. They wait for the perfect conditions. But you build conditions through action. You learn to master your mornings, your focus, your energy. You design your life intentionally. Discipline means doing what is right, not what is easy. It's waking up early to work on your goals, even when comfort calls you back to bed. It's saying no to distractions, because your purpose matters more. It's protecting your energy, like your future depends on it, because it does. There will be days you feel tired, uninspired, and uncertain. Those are the days discipline matters most, because anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. But discipline, that's doing it when you don't. That's when champions are made. In the quiet hours of repetition. When no one is clapping. When no one is watching. When no one is posting about it. Discipline is built in the dark and revealed in the light. So if you want to rebuild your mind, you must first master your habits. The small choices. The unglamorous tasks. The consistent effort that no one praises. Because success isn't one big act. It's 1,000 small acts, repeated with purpose. Discipline is your proof that you've let go of the old you. The old you needed motivation to act. The new you acts, and motivation follows. Each time you follow through, your confidence grows. Each time you say no to comfort, your power expands. Each time you choose consistency, you move closer to mastery. Discipline turns chaos into clarity. It gives shape to your ambition and direction to your drive. Without it, potential stays asleep. With it, you become unstoppable. So ask yourself tonight, what would the disciplined version of me do? Then do that. Even if it's hard. Even if it's small. Because every disciplined act rewires your mind for greatness. You do not need permission. You do not need perfect timing. You only need discipline and the courage to stay consistent. When no one is watching, let go of the old you who waited for motivation. Step into the new you, the one who acts, who endures, and who becomes unstoppable. Through discipline. Chapter 12, The Power of Patience and Timing. Everything meaningful in life takes time. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Healing doesn't happen overnight. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. Yet most people live in a constant rush, chasing outcomes, chasing recognition, chasing results that were never meant to appear so soon. Patience is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the understanding that what is being built within you is far greater than what you can see right now. The seed must stay underground before it blooms. The roots must deepen before the branches rise. And you must learn to wait before you flourish. Impatience is the voice of the old you, the version that wanted quick wins, instant validation, immediate comfort, but the new you understands that the journey itself is part of the preparation. Every delay, every detour, every quiet season is shaping your foundation. Timing is divine. You may not see it now, but there's alignment unfolding in the background. Every closed door is redirecting you. Every pause is positioning you. Every wait is working in your favor. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means trusting that your consistent effort will bear fruit at the right moment. When you rush the process, you rob yourself of wisdom. When you force outcomes, you destroy alignment. And when you lose patience, you start doubting your own journey. But the truth is, growth often hides in the waiting. Strength builds in the silence. And character forms in the unseen. The old you couldn't stand the wait. The new you learns from it. Pause 3's soft, confident tone. You begin to see that your pace doesn't define your worth. You begin to understand that your path is yours alone. No comparison, no timeline, just purpose, unfolding exactly as it should. The butterfly doesn't rush to leave the cocoon. The tree doesn't fight the seasons. Nature teaches us, everything has its appointed time. So why do we rush ours? Pause 3's mentor tone, gentle authority. Patience gives you peace. It teaches you to breathe through uncertainty, to work diligently, but release control over the outcome. It's the art of doing your best and letting time do the rest. When you stop forcing life to happen on your schedule, you create space for miracles. You start noticing opportunities that once passed you by. You begin to attract the right people, the right moments, the right timing, because you're no longer desperate, you're aligned. The new you doesn't chase. The new you prepares. You build quietly, you move intentionally, and you wait faithfully. The wait will test you. It will stretch your patience. But remember, patience is not passive. It's strength under control. While others panic, you stay grounded. While others quit, you keep building. While others doubt, you trust your timing. Because what's meant for you will never miss you, as long as you're becoming the person prepared to receive it. So breathe. Trust the process. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. To learn what this chapter is meant to teach you, patience is your proof of faith, your commitment to the long game, and your quiet declaration that you're done living in reaction, you now move in purpose. So let go of the rush. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Rebuild your mind with patience. Reclaim your life with trust. Because when the time is right, what's yours will find you, and it will never feel forced. Patience is not waiting for something to happen. It's becoming someone worthy when it does. Chapter 13. Breaking the chains of fear. Fear is the oldest emotion we know. It whispers in our minds. It tightens our chest. It tells us stories. Stories that keep us small. Fear says, what if you fail? Fear says, what will they think? Fear says, you're not ready. And the truth is, many never escape its voice. They build their lives inside invisible walls. Safe, predictable, and painfully small. But not you. Not anymore. To rebuild your mind, you must confront fear. Not to destroy it, but to understand it. Because fear isn't your enemy. It's your compass. It points directly toward what matters most. Fear exists where growth begins. It hides at the doorway to your next chapter. And when you walk toward it, you take your power back. The old you ran from fear. The new you walks with it. You see, fear loses control. When you move despite it, it thrives on hesitation. It grows when you freeze. But the moment you act, the moment you step forward, its grip begins to loosen. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep moving, even while it walks beside you. Every person you admire has felt fear. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. They understood that fear means you're alive. It means you're stretching beyond comfort. It means you're growing into someone new. Fear will try to protect the old you. It will remind you of past failures, replay old wounds, and build stories about what could go wrong. But remember, you are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the voice of fear. You are the awareness behind it. You are the observer, the one who decides whether to listen or to rise. When fear says, "Don't try," you say, "Watch me." When fear says, "You can't," you whisper, "I will." When fear says, "You're not enough," you remind it, "You're becoming more every day." Breaking the chains of fear is not a one-time act. It's a daily decision, a muscle you build with every brave choice. Speak when your voice trembles. Start when your hands shake. Step forward when your legs feel heavy. That's how transformation begins. You can't think your way out of fear. You must move through it. Action dissolves anxiety. Movement rewires your mind. Every time you act, you teach your nervous system that you are safe, even in discomfort. And that's where true freedom begins. Not in eliminating fear, but in mastering your response to it. Fear thrives in the unknown. So the more you explore, the less control it has. You break its chains, not by waiting for courage, but by choosing courage. Remember, fear screams loudest right before your breakthrough. That's how you'll know you're close. That's how you'll know you're on the edge of change. So don't run from fear. Look it in the eye. Name it. Breathe through it. And then, step forward anyway. Each step you take weakens its hold. Each brave moment strengthens your soul. The new you is not fearless. The new you is free. Free to live, to fail, to try, to rise, to begin again. You are not here to escape fear. You are here to transcend it. Let go of the chains. Let go of the hesitation. Rebuild your mind with courage. Reclaim your life, one brave step at a time. Chapter 14. The Art of Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about releasing the weight that's been sitting quietly on your heart for years. It's about giving yourself permission to stop reliving pain that no longer serves your growth. The old you carried resentment like armor, believing that holding on kept you safe. But in truth, it only kept you stuck. Every memory you replay, every grudge you hold, every silent bitterness you nurture, anchors you to the very past. You're trying to escape. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means you've decided that the pain will no longer control your peace. It means you value your freedom more than your anger. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength, because it requires you to feel everything and still choose peace. It's looking at the person, the moment, or even yourself, and saying, "I will not let this define me anymore." That's power. That's liberation. When you forgive, you take back your story. You stop being a prisoner of the past and become the author of your present. Many people think forgiveness is for others, but true forgiveness is self-healing. It's choosing to unclench your heart and let light in again. Because bitterness blinds you, keeps your soul heavy, your energy low, and your heart closed. The person who hurt you may never apologize. They may never understand. But you don't forgive them to free them. You forgive to free yourself. Forgiveness is an act of rebellion against pain. It's the declaration that your past no longer dictates your peace. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. For the mistakes you made, for the times you stayed too long, for the chances you didn't take, for the love you gave to people who couldn't hold it. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And now, you know better. So let go of the shame. Release the guilt. You are not your past self. You are the awareness that grew from the pain. And that awareness is your freedom. Forgiveness doesn't erase history. It transforms it. It turns wounds into wisdom, pain into perspective, loss into lesson. And when you forgive, you make space for something new. Peace, love, creativity, and calm. The old you replayed the past like a movie. The new you rewrites the ending. You stop asking, "Why did they do that to me?" and start asking, "What did this teach me?" That question shifts everything. Because forgiveness is perspective. It's maturity. It's emotional intelligence at its highest form. And in that moment, you begin to heal. Healing is not forgetting the pain. It's learning to live without carrying it. When you let go, you'll feel lighter. You'll breathe easier. You'll realize that peace was never out there. It was within you, waiting to be chosen. Forgive others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgive yourself, not because you were perfect, but because you've grown. Forgiveness is how you close the door on the old you, and how you open your arms to the life waiting ahead. Let go, forgive, and watch how lightness returns to your soul. Chapter 15, Becoming the New You. This is where the journey leads. The moment when the noise quiets, the weight lifts, and for the first time in a long time, you feel free. You've walked through pain. You've faced fear. You've unlearned, forgiven, rebuilt. And now, you stand on the edge of something new. Becoming the new you is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you've always been, beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the expectations. It's about meeting yourself again, the version untouched by doubt, unshaken by judgment, unafraid of change. You are no longer the person who reacted to everything. You respond now with awareness. You move with purpose. You speak with intention. Your silence is no longer weakness. It's peace. Your patience is no longer hesitation. It's wisdom. Your scars are no longer shame. They're proof of your becoming. Becoming the new you is not a sudden event. It's a quiet evolution. It's the slow return to authenticity, the gradual awakening of power you forgot you had. You've learned that letting go isn't loss. It's space. Space for new thoughts, new people, new energy, new beginnings. The old you needed validation. The new you trusts your own voice. The old you chased approval. The new you honors alignment. The old you feared endings. The new you welcomes transformation. And this is what rebirth feels like. Becoming the new you is a daily practice. It's how you wake up with gratitude instead of guilt. It's how you show up fully, even when no one's watching. It's how you forgive, how you love, how you live. The new you doesn't chase peace. You embody it. You no longer fight for validation. You walk in confidence. You no longer beg life to change. You create it. You've learned that healing isn't about forgetting the past. It's about owning your story and still choosing hope. You now understand. Life doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. You get clearer. You get calmer. Every version of you that broke made space for this one, the one that stands tall, self-aware, and finally free. Becoming the new you isn't a destination. It's a rhythm. It's a way of being. It's the balance between grace and growth, between surrender and strength. And now, you see the truth. You were never broken. You were only becoming. The pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was alignment. The ending wasn't final. It was the beginning. This is your becoming. This is your renewal. This is your life reclaimed. You have let go of the old you, the one who doubted, who apologized for existing. And now, you rise as the one who owns your story, who builds your peace, who leads with purpose. Becoming the new you means choosing truth over approval, discipline over comfort, peace over chaos, and love, always love, over fear. You're becoming someone powerful, someone free, someone whole. The journey never ends. But today, you step forward reborn. Rebuild your mind, reclaim your life, and never forget, the new you was within you, all along. Welcome to the new you. Keep rebuilding. You've reached the end of this journey, but remember, this is only the beginning. Every step you take, every thought you rebuild, every silent victory you win, brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. Let go of the old you. Stay loyal to your peace. Keep rebuilding your mind and reclaiming your life. If this message spoke to your soul, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps this message reach someone who might need it today. Join our growing community of dreamers, builders, and believers right here on Audio Soundz. Pause 3's gentle emphasis. Stay patient with your journey. Stay disciplined in your focus. And never forget, you are becoming unstoppable. This is your reminder from Audio Soundz. Keep rising, keep focusing, and keep chasing greatness.